the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Ben Johnson could be planning this bold change to the Chicago Bears offense as soon as this season. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. So, Bears fans, I have a very interesting topic of discussion on today's episode of Keek on the Mic that I just wanted to kind of talk with you guys about. And we all kind of knew when Ben Johnson was named the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, that there would be a lot of changes that would be made, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Already under Ben Johnson, some of the moves that Ryan Poles and the Bears have already made is revamping their offensive line, especially the interior with guys like Drew Dahlman, Jackson, and Joe Thuney. Obviously drafting two explosive playmakers to add to Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and Roma Dunze with tight end Colston Loveland and wide receiver Luther Burden. But it also sounds that new Bears head coach Ben Johnson is playing another bold change to the offensive line. And as we all know, the Bears drafted offensive tackle Audrey Trapillo, 56th overall out of Boston College. And the expectation was that Trapillo, the 6'8 tackle, would compete at left tackle with Braxton Jones and Karan Amagaji. But it sounds that Ben Johnson may opt to keep Trapillo at right tackle, where he spent most of his time at Boston College, and it's definitely more of a natural fit for Trapillo with his right tackle, and move Darnell Wright to the left side offensive line and play left tackle. And once again, Bears fans, Ryan Poles actually talked about making this switch. Talking about Darnell Wright playing more left tackle prior to the NFL draft. But Ryan Poles also noted that they were excited about, the progression that they've been seeing over the last couple of years with Darnell Wright playing the right side of the line, playing right tackle. But now with Audrey Trapillo in the fold, and obviously the uncertainty with Braxton Jones and his injury status, and maybe Karan Amagaji not being where they want him to be. Maybe they put Audrey Trapillo at the right side of the offensive line and give Darnell Wright a chance to play left tackle. Darnell Wright, and Ryan Poles did mention this, that was one of the big things they loved about Darnell Wright out of Tennessee a couple of yeyears ago, is that he did have the ability to play both left and right tackle. So he has that versatility. Obviously he's really athletic, 6'6", 333 pounds. A guy that can make that switch over there and play the left side of that offensive line. And he actually has 13 career starts back at Tennessee playing left tackle. And like I said, this would be a bold move by Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and the Chicago Bears organization. I personally don't like the idea of Darnell Wright playing left tackle, just for the simple fact that he has been so good for the Chicago Bears on the right side of the offensive line. He's progressing each and every single year, with this year hoping to be that official breakout year for Darnell Wright. But at the same time, if Ben Johnson feels like there is more of a need at left tackle, and they know that Darnell Wright has that versatility to play on the left side of the line, I think Ben Johnson is going to look at every single avenue. And what's kind of intriguing about the idea of possibly Wright playing on the left side is that he would be lined up right by Joe Thuney. So that would now become a strength of your offensive line. Talking about that left side, Darnell Wright and Joe Thuney right next to each other would be absolutely crazy. And then when you look at the right side of the offensive line, I feel that Audrey Trapillo, once again, could be a natural fit and possibly be a day one starter for the Chicago Bears. And the reason why I have that faith in a guys like Audrey Trapillo being a starter on that right side during his rookie year is just due to the fact that not only will Ben Johnson put him in the perfect situation to succeed, you also have new Bears offensive line coach Dan Rochar as well, that has developed so many high-level talents in the National Football League when you're talking about the offensive line. And Audrey Trapillo would be no different. Once again, 6'8", 316 pounds. Trapillo has strength, power, length, lots of upside. I think he could be a future starter. And once again, Ben Johnson is trying to look for the best starting five offensive linemen. You already have Drew Dahlman at center, Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson playing the interior guard positions. Now he's trying to look for the tackles. Of course, we can very well keep Darnell Wright at the right side and let Braxton Jones and Karan Amagaji compete for the left side with Audrey Trapillo in the mix as well, which to me, that's also a very ideal situation. And we don't know what we're going to expect from a guy like Karan Amagaji when we're talking about him as well. He now has a full off season under his belt. I think he's going to come back in really, really good shape. I think he's going to benefit from Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar as well. So Ben Johnson is going to look at every single avenue possible to try to make sure he has the best starting 5 offensive linemen in front of Caleb Williams, because this is going to be very important. So Bears fans, how do you feel about the idea of Darnell Wright playing on the left side of the offensive line? I personally would like to see him stay at the right side because he has been so good at the right tackle spot for the Chicago Bears. And then just let Braxton Jones and Karan Amagaji battle out at the left side of the line, and obviously Ozzie Trapillo can sit back and develop the right way. And then maybe in the future, if you still think there's a need because Karan Amagaji and Braxton Jones are not doing their job, then make that decision to move Darnell Wright over to the left side, and then maybe put Ozzie Trapillo at that right side of the offensive line. But at the same time, as a Bears fan, I am going to sit here and just trust Ben Johnson with that decision. If he feels like it's the best fit to have an offensive line that looks like Darnell Wright at left tackle, you have Joe Thuney at left guard, Drew Dahlman at center, Jonah Jackson at right guard, and Ozzie Trapillo at right tackle, I am not going to debate. I'm not going to argue. I am just going to trust Ben Johnson's judgment. But it's going to be an interesting development. They're going to do a bunch of different combinations on this offensive line. It's going to be a lot of really, really good combination. But once again, give me your guys' honest opinion on the idea of Darnell Wright possibly playing left tackle on the Chicago Bears offensive line. But other than that, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.